Welcome back to Take It Lightly, the show that never gave up on Derek Carr.
Dude is the absolute GOAT so far throughout the
MVP of
season.
the
He
league
is
through 2 weeks.
the Saints are slaughtering.
The Saints
Absolutely. I mean, to
are,
be fair, week 1 was the Panthers. We're not gonna act like that game was a challenge. But the Cowboys, who are, you know, we them boys every single season,
yeah, man.
they looked horrid against the Saints.
The Saints are interesting, that's for sure, and they have an
Led
interesting matchup this coming week. So we'll see if they can continue that. Uh,
led behind the GOAT,
uh
Derek Carr.
Led by the goat Derek Carr, should be on his way to his second MVP award, but 2016 fucked him over. But it's whatever.
Ugh, triggered. I ended up I told myself, because every year the awards are like the night or two before the Super Bowl. I told myself, if Matt Ryan wins this MVP and it's not Derek Carr, I'm rooting for the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and that just happened to be the most miraculous Super Bowl comeback ever.
Yeah, kind of deserved it, considering he didn't deserve the MVP award. Okay, I'm Tyler. I'm here with my friend Ian. How's it going, Ian?
It's going great. My state of mind of football is currently extremely depressed, but we're
Yeah,
here.
we'll don't worry. We don't have to talk about that much. It was a good week of football though.
It
Nothing
was
nothing super. I mean, there were some good games. There were some shocking events that happened. There were some
lot more important injuries,
there were some
you know.
unfortunate events that happened. And
Yeah,
we'll kind of
like
get into another thing. There was a scoregami this week, another one,
there
so we're
was.
2 for 2, and we'll get to that
There
later as
was.
well. There's kind of a bit to unravel with that game anyway. But do you have anything you want to say? Otherwise, we can just jump right into the recap.
Broncos country. Let's ride.
I did I did tally up our scores for the week and what we're at for the season as well. So we'll do that. We'll go over that too. Okay, so the first game
What?
was Thursday night, the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. The Bills beat the Dolphins 31-10, and Tua Tagovailoa suffered a concussion, and now he's on IR.
Another really bad concussion. Wasn't just a concussion. Another really bad one.
And what sucks is that like that hit wasn't even like a super nasty hit. It was just like a normal tackle.
No, yeah, it wasn't. It was. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he did lead with his head, so
Yeah,
that
that's
wasn't
yeah.
too
It
too
it
great.
it sucks. He's on IR. He's gonna miss at least the next 4 games. But I mean, he wasn't playing well.
No,
The Dolphins were getting blown out before that happened.
the I think the Dolphins actually had more offensive yards than the Bills did, and the Bills won by 21
Yeah, they
points.
did. I mean, Tua threw 3 interceptions.
Yep.
Um, Josh
Do you
Allen,
think Tua should retire? Do you think Tua should retire?
I would recommend it, but if he wants to keep playing, I'll support it because I understand that going out like that is kind of not something a lot of people want to do. But
I think if he keeps playing, he's got to learn to just be a pocket guy.
yeah,
He can't, like, I mean, I guess, to be fair, the first really bad concussion he got, when was that, a year or two ago?
that was two
That
years
one
ago.
was while he was in the pocket.
Yeah,
But
he got
uh
like slammed on the ground though and hit his head.
yeah, and he has a better offensive line now than he did then.
Yeah,
So, but it like he can't, and if he's going to keep
yeah,
running, he's got to start running to the sidelines, not
yeah.
running up the field.
Yeah. Nick Wright of First Things First pointed out that he thinks Tua did that because he was playing so poorly and they were just getting cooked, that he was just trying to really make up for his poor play and really just give his team a spark, which is why he
Yeah,
took off. But yeah, it's an unfortunate thing because you don't want to see anybody get hurt. I don't think Tua's a good quarterback, but you don't want to see him. You don't want to see anybody get hurt like this. So
yeah,
it's
very very
it's
unfortunate.
tough. Hopefully he can make a quick recovery, and if he wants to keep playing, I look forward to when he returns because he is exciting. The Dolphins are exciting to watch when he plays, when their offense is clicking. So
When Skylar Thompson plays, they look like shit.
yeah, I just know
So
that Tyreek Hill is going to get a lot of targets and a lot of yardage.
hey, Yeah,
So, because Skylar Thompson's not going to be able to wait long enough to get the ball to Jalen Waddle, so he's just going to have to quick release it to Tyreek. So, um,
make him do stuff.
yeah, he's like, here, Tyreek, you're in control now. But we both picked the Bills. I mean, the Bills just really didn't have to do much. James Cook was awesome.
Yep.
Yeah,
James was the entire offense that night for the most part.
he had like 178 and 3 touchdowns, something like that.
Yeah, it was. I don't think it was that many yards. He didn't have a lot of yards. I just know he had a lot of he had the three
No, he had a
touchdowns.
fuck ton of
He had.
yards,
He
I
had.
thought. Oh,
Uh,
sorry, it was 78 yards.
yeah.
78 yards. I looked at it wrong. He had 11 carries for 78 yards and 3 total touchdowns.
Yeah. And
Um,
he had a long receiving touchdown. I'm pretty sure.
he had
Or
a
no, he had a long rushing touchdown. He
and
had
a
a receiving
receiving
touchdown.
touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had Josh Allen's only touchdown of the day.
Yep.
And then the Bills had a pick six too, didn't they?
Yes,
Uh,
they did.
they did, yeah. Uh, yeah. I think that was Tua's last mistake before he got hurt. Um, but yeah, the Bills are 2-0. Dolphins are 1-1. Dolphins should be 0-2, but we'll talk about the Jaguars later.
Miraculously came back. Yep.
Moving on, and this is the game we won't spend a lot of time on to preserve Ian's feelings. I'm actually surprised he
It's
wants to do a podcast this week. Uh,
so
the
triggered.
the Las Vegas Raiders 26 and the Baltimore Ravens 23.
We're fucking such pee pee poo poo hot shit. It's just fucking. It's disgusting. It's really disgusting. We had a 10-point lead with less than half of the fourth quarter
You had a 10
left,
point lead
and we
twice in
lose.
the second half. You led 16 to
Thanks.
6 and 23-13.
Yeah, I just I don't know. It's not a pretty sight in Baltimore. The offensive line is a serious issue,
Yeah.
and so is the play calling. Our play calling is extremely obvious. When Derrick Henry is in the backfield, it is a run, and when he is not in the backfield, it's Justice Hill. It is a pass. It is so obvious, and it is not good. But is there hope? No. We play Dallas this week, and I'm scared. So,
Mm.
and we're both. Dallas is also 0-2 in that game.
Dallas
The
is
the loser of
1-1.
that. No, they're not.
They played Cleveland week 1 and
Oh,
they blew them out.
damn it! It's the Giants. That's right, the Giants. Well, the loser of this game is put in a very bad situation
Yeah.
for the rest of the season.
Um, we'll talk more about that game when we get to our picks, but um, my biggest note was, I mean, Brock Bowers. Maybe he's the best tight end in football. You deafened, but there
Yeah,
you go.
he went off.
Yeah.
I had to burp. I was trying to be nice.
Um, yeah, Brock Bowers might be the best tight end in football.
No, him
I
and Devontae both looked
yeah,
awesome.
they I didn't get to watch any games this weekend except for the Sunday Night Football game. So, um I'm kind of just gonna just kind of go off of like highlights and
Low lights.
recaps of the games that I've read. Um, but yeah, we both picked the Ravens and we both got that wrong.
Oops.
Shout out to the Raiders. Their defense looks actually really good.
Yep. Crosby is an absolute dog.
Yeah,
He
Antonio Pierce.
currently my
I didn't know how fast he would turn the defense around, but he's turned it around really quick. We just have to make sure we are consistent on offense.
currently Max Crosby is my pick for defensive player of the year because that is ridiculous so far what he's been doing. I mean, it probably should be T.J. Watt, or Aiden Hutchinson so far, but
Yeah, those three guys
uh,
right now are probably the three I would go with.
yeah, they are cracked out.
Next up, Los Angeles Chargers 26 and high school football 3. The Carolina Panthers. Um,
There's really not much.
J.K. Dobbins might be the MVP of the league right now, if not Derek
J.K.
Carr.
Dobbins is absolutely cracked, absolutely cracked out. But there's
Yeah, he's
just, but
killing it.
it's the Panthers.
Yeah,
Like
they're
it's,
horrible.
they're so bad.
They're actually going to be
So
better. They're actually going to be maybe better now with Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton, I agree. I think they might actually put on almost college level show.
But yeah, that team is just a disaster.
No, they're so
They're
bad.
It starts with the owner and just goes all the way down.
Yep.
Not much to talk about. Jim Harbaugh's, his game plan's working. Their offensive line looks good. Their running game looks awesome. The Chargers are
Herbert doesn't have to throw it 40 times a game for the game to be competitive.
nope, but we know that if he needs to, he can sling it. So,
Yep.
um, yeah, I mean the Chargers. Shout out to them. We both picked them to win. I don't think that was hard. I
I
think,
could put $1 billion on the Chargers that day
yeah,
and still, been confident.
yeah. So, do you have anything else for this one?
Nope.
Nope. Moving on. Next one, New Orleans Saints 44, Dallas Cowboys 19. This was scoregami.
This was the scoregami.
Number 1086 in NFL history.
Yep, and it couldn't have happened to a better game, honestly.
I mean, Alvin Kamara
Is awesome.
was
I'm so glad I have him
phenomenal.
in multiple fantasy leagues. But yeah, he went off. Derek Carr looks great.
Yeah,
The
people
Saints just looks great.
people saying Derek Carr only threw the ball 16 times, because he didn't have to throw it anymore.
Yep.
They were
And
blowing Derek Carr. The Saints have scored on every single drive that Derek Carr has quarterbacked
yeah,
them
I
on.
saw that. I saw that. That's crazy.
Like he has 5 touchdowns to 1 interception in 2 games,
Yeah.
and he just looks great. He's healthy. He looks like he's having fun out there. Um, the Saints' offense is cracked. Their defense is really good.
Yep.
It's kind of insane.
Yeah, they look awesome. And the Cowboys don't. The
The
Cowboys
Cowboys, yeah,
still look in disarray.
the Cowboys are supposed to have this great defense, and they got lit up. Now, I do think Derek Carr would have thrown more touchdowns and would have had more passing yards and pass attempts if Alvin Kamara wasn't breaking off 70-yard touchdown runs. Um,
Yes.
but like they just kept giving it to him, and he kept succeeding. Like if it's not broke, don't fix it. They didn't need Derek Carr to be great this game, even though he was really good. So,
Yeah.
um, he was great last week, and he didn't need to be great. He was really good. He was what they needed, and I'm just I Ian knows this. I've been a Derek Carr guy since the Raiders drafted him in 2014. Um, I was I'm on team Derek Carr should have won MVP in 2016. I've been that on that train for 8 years now, and I was also on team
Rob.
it was not Derek Carr's fault and with the Raiders when they parted ways.
And I
The
agree with all those
the
statements.
Raiders fucked him over. Like Josh McDaniels fucked him over. I
Yeah.
The Raiders would actually be a good team now if Derek Carr was still their quarterback.
Yeah, they would have a legitimate
They'd
quarterback.
have somebody like I like Gardner Minshew, but he's not
He's
a
not that dude.
he's a fine quarterback. He's fine. Derek Carr's a good to great quarterback, and the Raiders would actually
The
be a
whole
good team.
whole reason Devontae went there was because Derek Carr was there.
Yeah, and
Like,
the Raiders fucked him over, and now Devontae wants out. But that's like,
yeah,
but I mean,
whatever.
the Saints are interesting. I'm still Derek Carr's back. I think that's been established, but because he had a great end of the season last year too. But I'm
Yeah.
still not entirely sold on the Saints as a whole. But they are going to be fun to watch, and this ass kicking could not have come to on a better opponent. So
Yes, I
um,
agree. To a nicer fan base.
yeah, fuck the Cowboys. Um, uh, you actually picked the Saints to win that game, and I picked the Cowboys. So
Let's go.
you one up me on that one. So good job, bud. We
Yeah,
also we
only took a
also
week and a half. Let's go.
we also went different directions on this next game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers 20 and the Lions 16. Ian,
Yes,
you rode with the Bake Show this week, and it worked out for you.
I absolutely did because the Lions head coach is a big dumb dipshit.
Yeah,
He literally, I've been saying this since the Lions became good. Besides the Ravens game that they lost last year, 38-6, every game the Lions have lost has been Dan Campbell's fault. Uh, you know, I
yeah.
And also, Baker just played way too well in week one for that to not continue. The only thing that worried me about the Buccaneers was that secondary, just because so many of them were hurt
Yeah,
against Washington. But
they made Jared Goff look like a bum.
yeah, they did. They made Jared Goff look real bad. The only person that looked good that game was really Amon-Ra. And I
Amon
mean,
Ra, yeah.
Gibbs had Gibbs had a good amount of yards, but
Sam Laporte is still
um,
a pumpkin right now.
yeah, but that not it still kind of surprised me because like the
Mm.
Lions I think are overall the better team,
Hmm.
but the Bucks are just hot right now. Got to ride the hot hand.
Yeah, and also the Bucks wanted revenge after the playoff game. Um,
Yeah,
but I
a
mean,
game
yeah,
that they also could have won.
Dan. I like I said, I didn't get to watch the game. This is one of the games I would have watched. I would have watched this game and the Raiders Ravens game on Sunday if I could. Um, but I remember following it on my phone and like, okay, I was like, oh, the Lions are gonna get a field goal before halftime, and then they did, and I was like, what happened?
Yeah,
Yeah, Dan Campbell, I can't defend him this week. I'm not even gonna try. So he deserves the criticism. I do like the fact that, he acknowledged that his players went out there and did their job and he didn't do his. Um, and that's what makes, that's why I still believe in him and that team, but I'm not gonna defend him this week. That was horrible coaching.
yeah. I mean that's a real cool sob story when he does it every other week. They lose because of him too, but it gets pretty old after a while.
Um, and yeah, you went with the Bucks. The Lions did have a chance to win at the end, but they just didn't execute. Jared
Yeah,
Goff didn't play well. Um, their defense and their offensive line were solid like always. So
yeah.
um,
Aiden Hutchinson had what 5 sacks that game?
yeah, Aiden Hutchins is a fucking beast. It doesn't get easier for the Lions this week, so we'll see how that goes.
No.
Um, but yeah, next game. This one's a bit hard to talk about. It's the Packers 16, the Colts 10. Anthony Richardson was horrible.
Yeah, he was, and uh, Malik Willis looked pretty good
Yeah, I
for what he
mean,
needed to do.
they just ran the ball down the Colts' throat. It worked. Josh Jacobs did have a touchdown. I know this because I have him in I think both leagues. Do I have him in our league? No, I have Aaron Jones in our. I have Josh Jacobs in our league
Yeah, you do.
and Aaron Jones, but I have Josh Jacobs and Joe Mixon in my other league.
Yeah,
Um,
but just really tough loss for the Colts right there.
I
Like
mean,
that is when they should have
this
gone out
is
there and won. And
this is about what I expected from Anthony Richardson. Great performance, and then bad performance, but he. This is not a game the Colts should have lost.
I agree
Um,
with you 100%.
and now it puts their chances of making the playoffs in jeopardy. I know it's only week 2 and it's too early to talk about playoffs, but since the playoffs uh, realigned to 7 teams, only 2 teams have made the playoffs at 0-2, and I'm pretty sure both
Yeah.
times it was the Cincinnati Bengals.
I know at least one time it was the Bengals.
That was the year they went to the Super Bowl.
Yes, which triggered me.
Um, so I mean, it's not good for the Colts believers. I still think Anthony Richardson is going to be one of those guys that is a absolutely electric one week and then comes back down to earth the next. At least probably until at least for the first half to maybe first 3 quarters of this season, until he's played a full season. Um, yeah, it's an inexplicable loss for the Colts, and we both picked the Colts, so it hurts more.
Yeah.
Do you have
Defense
anything?
looked good though. The Colts defense looked fine.
I
Only had
I
to
I think the defense played fine, but the defensive play calling was not fine because they knew the Packers were going to run the ball down their throat, and they still let them do it.
fair enough.
I but I
But only
I
gave
think
up 16 points.
yeah, but if the Colts defensive personnel is just good. The Colts always have a solid defense. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah. Any other comments about this game?
Nope, good on that.
All right, next game. The Browns 18, the Jaguars 13. The Jags are garbage.
Or the Browns.
Like this, the Jags are a disaster. They're horrible.
Yeah, no, they are they're doing very bad for how decent of personnel they have on both sides of the ball.
Trevor Lawrence is horrible. Is playing horribly.
Yeah,
I was a Trevor Lawrence guy too, and I've kind of fallen off of him.
good.
Um,
He sucks.
Deshaun Watson didn't play horribly on Sunday,
He did not
unfortunately.
play horribly. No,
Unfortunately.
he did not. A lot of overthrown balls though.
Well, yeah, he's not good. So,
I know. I'm not
um,
disagreeing.
yeah. Do you want to talk about this game anymore?
No, we don't need to. There's
Okay, we both picked the Jags, and we both got it wrong.
nice.
This was this next game I want to spend some time on. Uh, Minnesota Vikings 23, 49ers 17.
Yeah,
I
I
want to I
mean,
want to start by saying called it.
fair enough. Yeah, I mean, dude, the Vikings look, dude, Sam Darnold looks awesome.
So,
Like,
I don't know if you listened to a Justin Jefferson press conference. I think it was on Thursday or Friday. Um, the Niners said that the Niners were asked about guarding Justin Jefferson, and they're like, we were able to shut down Garrett Wilson, so we have confidence in our guys that they can shut down Jefferson. And Justin Jefferson was asked about that, and Justin Jefferson said, and this is a direct quote, respectfully, I'm not Garrett Wilson. and
facts.
and then he went off and he put up 4 catches for 133 yards and that 97-yard touchdown, um,
Yeah,
which was
which great throw and great run.
phenomenal throw. And then Justin Jefferson made those. There were two guys on him, and he made them both look silly.
Yeah,
Justin Jefferson is the best receiver in the league. He continues to show it, even with Sam Darnold is a downgrade at quarterback. But when you have a guy like Justin Jefferson on your team, like all you got to do is just throw it in his direction. He's gonna make a play.
yeah,
The guy is electric. And the Vikings, the defense played well, really well. Brock Purdy did not play well. He almost had 3 turnovers. He had two, but he almost had a third. Um,
the backup there, Mason. He played great again though.
yeah. Debo got hurt, which sucks. Justin Jefferson
Yeah,
got hurt in the third quarter. Um,
yeah,
which is when the Vikings offense kind of started to become stagnant.
tamper down. Yep,
But Sam Darnold has played well. He did have an interception this game. Um, but obviously quarterbacks are going to throw interceptions unless your name is C.J. Stroud. So, C.J. Stroud's the only starting quarterback without a pick this year so far. That's a fun fact. Uh,
really? I didn't know
I'm
that.
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
No, Jane Daniels doesn't have one yet. I don't think.
No, but he also doesn't have a passing touchdown. So,
Oh, okay.
uh, well, I'm not saying that's, but I think you might be right. But Jaden Daniels also does not have a passing touchdown because they're not passing the ball with him a lot.
Yeah,
Um, which we can talk about more later, but I think that's smart for the Commanders to do. Anyway,
I agree as well. I think they should
uh,
be very much modeling a run first kind
yeah,
of
yeah,
team.
yeah, and we can talk about that more later. Because anyway, but yeah, I picked the Vikings to win. You picked the Niners. As I said last week, I will continue to believe in Sam Darnold until he gives me a reason not to. But one, like the Vikings are just a better team than the Jets are, just top to bottom. Ownership, coaching, personnel. They don't ruin their players. They actually take the time to develop their guys.
Yeah,
Like Christian Ponder even looked good when he was with the Vikings for a couple seasons.
which is so hard to do.
And Christian Ponder was bad. uh,
Facts.
Sam Darnold might be a bad quarterback, but he's looking good with the Vikings. I,
Yeah,
and I just they're playing they're playing a third place schedule. No, yeah, they're playing a third place schedule. Fun fact I learned actually is that the Niners have not beaten the Vikings in Minneapolis since 1992.
really?
This was the 8th consecutive time that the Vikings have beaten the Niners at home.
Good for them. At least
Uh,
someone can get a nice little win streak against them.
yeah. But I mean, I think the Vikings are going to be sneaky, man. They're going to be, and I even told you that the Vikings are going to be good enough to be competitive, and I didn't think they would make the
Oh no.
playoffs, but I did think they would have a chance to. Every team in that division would split with each other. The Vikings have proven that they can hang around and probably do that. So, what'd you say? You said, "Oh no."
You definitely just lagged super hard for me.
Oh, am I okay? We're still recording, so that's
I
good.
yeah.
Did
No,
you
it's
hear?
probably me. You know, I got my bum ass internet up in my room.
Did you hear what I said?
Nope, not a word except for the very ending.
I said, I told you this, but I thought the Vikings would be good enough to be competitive. I didn't think they would be blown out or bottom feeders.
Hmm.
Um, Obviously, I picked them to win this game, and I still believe that they might have a shot to compete for the playoffs. I don't think they'll make the playoffs, but I think they'll be better than I expected them to be. And I think they're going to be better than a lot of people expected them to be.
They are very much surprising me.
Kevin
I'm
O'Connell's a great
I'm
coach. He's a great coach. Um, okay, next game, the Seahawks versus the Patriots. It went 23-20. Seattle over New England in overtime.
Gino looked awesome.
Gino did look awesome. My only note for this game, first of all, you picked the Patriots. I picked the Seahawks. The Patriots are pretty good right now. They're playing well.
Yeah,
Um,
they could have won that game.
no Kenneth Walker for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And they still won. My only thing for this game was that I picked up Tyler Lockett this week in fantasy in my other league, and I started him. And Jackson Smith and Jigba had 24 points. Tyler Lockett had 3. So
Yeah.
I
DK also had
he had
20 like 8,
yeah he had
something like that.
32 in my other league. Um,
Jesus Lordy.
I have both Tyler Lockett and JSN, but I figured that Tyler Lockett would get more targets than JSN. I was wrong. I'm not starting JSN over Tyler. I'm not starting Tyler Lockett over JSN ever again. Um,
Yeah, there you go.
but yeah, no, the Seahawks. I mean, Gino looked great. The Seahawks are the Seahawks are good, man.
Seahawks are looking pretty good. Top of the division right now.
Yeah, they're 2-0. Their other competitors, man, the Cardinals are. Yeah, that division's gonna be interesting, especially when the Rams get healthy. But
Yeah.
next game, do you have anything else for that?
Nope.
Yeah, next game, Jets 24, Titans 17.
I mean, expected this. Will Levis had probably the worst play of the season so far.
He's had the top 2 worst plays of the season so far.
What was the other one?
The falling down interception he threw against the Bears that was returned for an intercept touchdown.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, geez, that guy's really struggling now, ain't he? Did you see what his coach said? He's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, Titans are in dismay right now. I mean, the Jets. We're not even gonna act like the Jets even looked that good. They let the Titans score 17. They only won by
no,
7. Um, you know,
yeah,
I mean, more not a very exciting game.
no. We both picked
Uh,
the Jets.
yeah, nor a surprising outcome.
No. A little bit of time on these next 2 games probably. First up, Commanders versus Giants. 21-18 Commanders. Ian, you want to tell the audience the fun fact about this game?
Uh, that Washington finally found a kicker. Let's go. Nah.
Uh, do you know the fun fact?
Yeah, that the Giants were the first team ever to score 3 touchdowns and not let up a touchdown and still lose the game.
Yeah, 7 field goals for the Commanders. Um,
Yeah, that's actually
Malik
crazy.
Malik Neighbors went off this game.
B
Uh,
Rob went off that game.
yep,
Jaden Daniels looked good.
yep. I as we were talking about before, I actually really like the fact that the Commanders are not relying on him to throw the ball a lot.
Yep.
They need to not run with him so much, but Dan Quinn's slowly letting him get into the vibe of the NFL, and I think he's doing it the right way by not putting him into too much danger, not asking him to do too much. and letting him find his own rhythm. I think
Yeah,
that's
I to be fair, I don't think a lot of the run plays he's doing are designed run plays for him.
sure.
You know,
Yeah. And I hope that those are things that not Dan Campbell, Dan Quinn is saying, hey, don't take off so much. Like, don't put your body at risk.
yeah,
Like, either just throw the ball away or do a check down pass or something, because you don't want your rookie quarterback, you know, putting himself in
dying.
harm's way so fast, especially when he's kind of skinny and doesn't have as much muscle on him as a lot of other guys. But Jane Daniels
Yeah,
is gonna be. I think he's gonna be awesome once he gets into once he finds his groove. Um,
Daniel Jones didn't look bad either.
but he also played the team that he owns the most in his career.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Daniel Jones didn't look that bad. We can
Daniel
end that right there.
Daniel Jones didn't look that bad either. Yeah, the Gardner Minshew of the NFC played fine. Um, but yeah, man, I'm liking more and more that the Commanders are going to be sneaky and compete for a playoff spot. Do you have any other thing you want to talk about? Hello.
Oh,
Yeah.
there we go. Dude, I have no idea why you just keep cutting out.
Technical difficulties.
No idea why you just keep cutting out. That's crazy, bro. This is some bullshit.
I can't tell if you're memeing or not.
No, I'm not. This is some bullshit. What do you think? Do you think I'm sitting over here, uh,
Muting me?
taking
Yeah.
in and out? Yeah,
Yeah.
muting you definitely. Going in and out on the Ethernet cord, just pulling it in and out for shits and
Uh,
gigs.
Last week I did disconnect from like my internet did go down for a brief moment, but it didn't affect anything.
That's my internet could be full fucking strength, and it still is just anger, rage. I hate I have beef with my internet and have my entire life.
Yeah.
So
Um
yeah.
Sorry, let me just cross off the notes that I had written down that we've already talked about or stuff I forgot to talk about that I don't really want to talk about anymore. Um we talked about Anthony Richardson being horrible. Okay.
Oh yeah, we did.
Um the only one I didn't talk about was that I think the Dolphins are cooked now, but that's fine. Um
Nah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see about that one, anyways, too.
well, they're not going to win with Skylar Thompson, so yeah, so I picked the Commanders, you picked the Giants. Um Next game, this might be the most shocking game of the week. The Cardinals 41, the Rams 10.
Yeah, an injured Rams team at that, but
But still,
yeah,
like
freaking Marvin Harrison Jr. having 130 yards and two touchdowns before halftime
in
even
the
came
first
around.
quarter,
Yeah,
in
that's
the
just
first quarter.
ridiculous. I mean, and everyone says the Cardinals defense isn't that good. The Rams only scored 10 points. I mean, to be fair, they're missing their two best players on
And their
offense,
tight
but
end.
is
Higbee
Higby
not
not
playing.
playing?
Yeah, no, he's on the pup list.
Hmm. Wow. Okay. Well,
Yeah. It's just
damn.
Stafford
Maybe
and
maybe I
Williams.
shouldn't be that surprised then. Maybe interesting.
Like I didn't I'm not surprised the Cardinals won. I'm surprised they won by so much.
Yes. Yes, I'm surprised they put up that many points because it's not the defensive side of the ball that's injured, and normally that defense is pretty solid. I mean, there's no more Aaron Donald, I get
Right.
that, but
The Rams do have defensive injuries, but it's not nearly as significant as their offensive injuries.
yeah,
And they only allowed 26 points to the Lions last week. So, you'd think, yeah, the Rams are in a tough situation right now.
yeah,
I think they'll be okay because they still have Stafford and one of the best coaches in the league. And I'm sure they'll stay afloat, but I don't think they're a playoff team anymore. I don't think they're gonna be able to win enough games during while all these guys are out
yeah.
to
They might. they might have a little bit of a chalked
It
season here
sucks
coming up.
because it sucks. Like we both picked the Rams to win, and I know Matthew Stafford got his Super Bowl, but it sucks because this seems to be the story of Matthew Stafford's whole career. Either he's hurt or his whole team is.
Yeah, or all the important pieces around him are.
And it just sucks because he's such a great quarterback. He always has been, and you'd like to see him go on one more chance, like have one more legitimate chance at winning a Super Bowl, and it just does not look like it's going to happen because he's 36.
Yeah, it's getting to be that time for him, and uh,
Yeah, it sucks.
it's just going to be hard with the very little. I mean, he's got his running back, but besides that, right now he's got very little skill talent around him.
Yeah, the Rams are in trouble for sure, and it's got nothing to do with McVay or Stafford. It's just that's the way the game is. It's unfortunate, and like I said, I think they'll stay afloat, but I don't think they're playoff contenders anymore. I know it's only
No,
week
I
two, so
tend to agree.
especially since we don't know when Cup and Nakua are coming back. So
Yeah, they're both just. I know Nakua got thrown on the IR, but have they done that to Cup yet?
uh I'm not sure. They'll probably will.
Yeah,
As of the time of recording this, I don't know if he's on the. Let me check. We can go to the next game, the Steelers and the Broncos. Steelers 13, Broncos 6. Um,
not surprised about this game whatsoever.
no, I
You
mean the
know,
Steelers defense dominated Bo Nix. Bo Nix is horrible.
yeah, that Broncos offense is just really bad in general. It's tough,
Yeah.
and then so is the Steelers offense. That Steelers offense is really bad.
Yeah.
But the Broncos defense is also really good, just like the Steelers. But the
He is
Steelers defense,
Cooper Cup is not on the IR, not yet,
okay,
as of
he's
recording
probably
this podcast. Um,
okay.
he's just doubtful for the game. So I guess in a silver lining for the Rams is that he's not on the IR yet.
Yet he says,
You just never know. Okay, we both picked the Steelers to win. We're gonna move on.
yeah, shitty
Uh,
game.
in my opinion, the game of the week, uh, the Chiefs 26, Bengals 25.
Yeah, I mean, great game, great
It
game.
lived up to the hype.
Burrow looks better.
Burrow looked great. He looked like classic Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Um,
But I mean, it is exactly what we expected. It was a tight game through and through, all the way down to
yeah.
the end.
And
Um,
I know you and I have had differing opinions on the end of game pass interference call.
yeah, he got bailed.
I it was a pass interference. It was
It was
pass
a pass.
interference.
I agree. Or no, no, sorry, wait. I disagree. It was not pass interference. They were
Yeah,
both going for the ball. I was thinking of something else. Yes, it was not pass interference. They were both going for the ball. I just,
yeah. No, I mean, I think it was a clear pass interference, but that's neither here nor there. The game was great, but the Bengals, man, they this happens to them every time they play the Chiefs. They
I know. It's up to the
outplay
third year in a row they started 0-2.
they they outplayed them again, and Patrick Mahomes find just pulls it out of his ass because that's
Yep,
what
he
he does.
found a way.
That's how and that's why Patrick Mahomes is the greatest, not just the greatest quarterback, the best player in the NFL. He just finds ways to win. The Chiefs find
Yep,
ways to win.
it's super obnoxious. I
It
hate it.
it's obnoxious in the sense that the other teams in the AFC, and we're both fans of AFC teams, and I'm not saying the Raiders ever had a shot, but it's unfortunate that we went from one legendary quarterback in a dynasty to another legendary quarterback in a dynasty with
I know the
no
parody
gap.
is, yeah, I know the parody is very little.
Um, but I mean, the Chiefs, they found ways to win. You picked the Bengals to win. I wanted them to win. I picked the Chiefs. Um, the Bengals probably should have won that game. Patrick Mahomes played like garbage, arguably the worst game of his career. Uh, yeah, man.
And still got it done.
The Chiefs just find ways to win. The Bengals are 0-2, and it's not going to get any easier for them.
It is not.
because
And it's
they still have to
what? Go
play
ahead.
6 games against their own division,
Yep, which are all going to
which at
be
most,
tough.
is 3 wins.
I think they could manage four.
I think they could beat the Browns twice, but they're not going to beat the Steelers twice, and they're not going to beat the Ravens twice.
Slow your fucking roll with how piss poor we're playing so far. They might beat us 3 times on accident.
Uh, but I mean, the Steelers and Browns just have good defenses, so it's gonna be tough. If Joe Burrow looked better, so that gives me some hope. And the Bengals are used to starting 0-2, but this is a year they shouldn't have been 0-2. They played the Patriots in Week 1.
Yeah,
They should have been one
they
and one at worst.
yep. But
They,
they fucked around and found out.
yeah.
That is
Um,
that is literally what happened.
and then Jamar Chase had the instance where he got the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty because he thought Trent McDuffie hit drop tackled him, and
Yep.
we don't need to talk about that play.
Got to learn to keep your cool though.
Yeah,
Like especially in that situation.
again, Nick Wright of First Things First made a good point. Maybe Jamar Chase is acting the way he's acting, or especially about that play, because he did think it was an illegal tackle. He could have gotten hurt on it, and because he thought he was going to have $100 million guaranteed in his pocket right now, he's a
Yeah.
little more on edge because if he gets hurt, he suddenly does not have that guarantee of that contract
Yeah.
anymore. And
Yeah,
Jamar,
it's
so
go ahead.
Jamar Chase is a great wide receiver, obviously, and he should get his money. But it kind of when I heard that, it kind of put into perspective why he got so worked up. I do think he overreacted because I think it was a clean tackle, but it could. I'm like I kind of get it. I kind of get it now.
Bengals are just screwing them too. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
they're gonna keep they're gonna keep kicking this can down the road, and it's not gonna be good.
and they're screwing T Higgins just to throw that out there. So. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't pay both of them, but pay one of them. If, like we thought you weren't paying T Higgins because you were going to pay Jamar Chase,
And now look what they're doing.
and now you don't
Look
want to
what
pay
look at
either
the
one.
situation they're in.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I kind of understand. I still don't think he should have reacted that way, but I kind of understand why he did after hearing that comment from Nick Wright.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Next game, the Texans 19, the Bears 13. It was Sunday Night Football. Um, my first comment before you go would be that the Bears defense was awesome again.
I agree. I do think they played awesome, and I'm also at the same time still surprised the Texans did not put up more points. Also, the leading rusher of the game was Caleb Williams, which is crazy to me.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's just a testament to how good the Bears defense not just was in this game, just is as a whole because they were able to contain that Texans offense. They were able to contain CJ Stroud. They were able to CJ Stroud first of all made 2 bad throws the entire game. Um, I didn't think there was a single bad play call that the Texans made. I just think the Bears made the defensive plays they needed to. Um, Caleb Williams in the first half, I thought he played fine. I thought he was better in the first half. In the second half, he was horrible. And yet the Bears
Yeah,
still had a chance at the end of the game to go down and win because of how well their defense played.
yeah,
So
their defense is so good.
shout out to the Bears defense.
Yeah, their defense is going to be the reason they win games this year. It's it's
Yeah,
it's really looking like it's not going to be the offense
and
because Caleb is really struggling.
so far and like if their defense wins them enough games, Caleb Williams might figure it out at some point, and then the Bears are suddenly a scary team again.
Yeah,
But Caleb Williams has played very poorly through 2 games. But I don't want to fault him for it because he is a rookie and he had to play a very highly touted team and the reigning offensive rookie of the year in CJ Stroud on the road in his second game. So the Texans have a good defense too, and the Texans are very well coached. So I don't want to like fault him for his play. I don't think he played well at all, but like it's his second NFL game and he played one of the best teams in the other conference. So
And he could have played worse.
he could have played worse. Like I said, the first
He
half
really could have played
I
worse.
thought I thought he played fine in the first half. I was very impressed with some of the decisions he made, some of the throws he made in the first half. In the second half, I thought he tried to do too much. Um, but I mean, the Texans, man, they that defense is legit too. Um, and C.J. Stroud, like I said, I think he made two bad throws the entire game. The first one was his first throw of the game, that was going to Nico Collins, that was tipped in the air. Uh, it was a good defensive play by the linebacker. Don't get me wrong, but he jumped up, got his hand on it, tipped in the air, and it fell innocently to the ground. And then in the, I think it was the third quarter, he threw what would have been a pick six, except I think it was Eddie Jackson. Um, it hit the ground. He didn't have control of it before it hit
Hmm,
the ground. So, but it would have been a pick six. If
gotcha.
he had had it. Those were the only two the entire season. Those are the only two bad throws C.J. Stroud's made so far. Um, and the Bears contained the Texans' run game. Joe Mixon wasn't as good. Joe Mixon did leave with an ankle injury. He came back, then he left again. Um, yeah, this was a tough outing for the Bears offensively, which it's been tough for them through two games. But that
Yeah,
Bears, I just think the biggest story of this game is that the Bears defense is. I knew
looking fantabulous.
I thought it would be good. It's looking better than I thought it would be. So
Yeah, they're looking
they're
awesome. I
they're
drafted them in two fantasy leagues out of a need of a defense, and they're turning out to be
I
great picks so far.
they were free agents in my other league, and I picked them up right before their game against the Titans, and obviously it worked out.
Yep.
I was like, why is the Bears defense free agents? I'm grabbing these guys. I'll have two defenses on my roster. I have the Chiefs defense as well.
Uh,
Um, but I mean, the Texans are gonna be really good, and I think this just kind of confirms it. Like they don't have to light you up to beat you. So
yeah.
um, and then we both picked the Texans, by the way. And then the last game, the Falcons and the Eagles. Falcons 22, Eagles 21. What's your takeaway from this game?
What an ending from the sell
Yeah,
of the Philadelphia Eagles to the
yeah.
incredible drive down the field that fucking Kirk Cousins led. You like that? I like that. Everyone likes that.
Kirk, I didn't think he looked good for most of the game. He looked great on that last drive. Um,
He looked awesome that last drive.
yeah.
That was an insane drive down the field.
Um,
Both running backs looked good though. Besides that drop by Barkley, like Bijan and
Bijan,
Saquon throughout
yeah,
the game looked
yeah.
good.
Saquon and and Jalen Hurts played well.
But you could definitely tell he was missing AJ Brown.
Yeah, but he was using his legs more, which is what makes Jalen Hurts so good.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, he used his legs more. He made one bad decision the entire game from what I saw, which was the interception. He got hit as he threw. You know, you could scratch that off. He got hit as he threw, but I don't think he should have thrown that ball that way.
you're
Uh,
talking about his last pick.
hit the game sealing interception. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think he should have thrown the ball that way to begin with.
I agree. He threw it into like double, triple coverage. Wasn't a
Yeah,
smart ball, but you mean you had to force it down the field anyways, so I get it.
yeah, but they didn't even have to do that because they still had two timeouts, and they still had two time or a time. I think they still had two timeouts. No, they still had one timeout at the time.
Yeah, they had won.
So they didn't even have to force it downfield. All they need is like 25 yards, and they're in Elliott's field goal range. 15 yards, and they're in Elliott's field goal range to tie the game or win the game. Sorry. Um, but the thing I want to just mention real quick, I this exact reason the Eagles losing this game is the exact reason I don't believe in them.
I very much agree with that.
I don't think it's because of their personnel. I think Saquon Barkley's awesome. I think I like Jalen Hurts, even though he is inconsistent. We've seen flashes of him being great. He was great Monday night, except for that one play.
I'm telling you, the problem's Sirianni.
The 100%. Like
you know.
The Falcons don't have a timeout. Why are you throwing the ball on third down?
I know. It's just
Like Barkley's a sure-handed receiving running back, but e- everyone makes mistakes, and he made a mistake. The
he
first
shouldn't have been put in that situation.
Exactly. You run the ball. If you don't get the first down, you take 40 seconds off the clock. To put it into perspective, okay? If you run the ball on third down and then you call a timeout at the end of the play clock, you take 40 seconds off the clock. There's a minute left. You kick the field goal. There's 57 seconds left. Okay? The Falcons got the ball back with a minute 39.
Yeah, dude, that's
They
crazy. And
they scored their tying slash go ahead touchdown with 38 seconds left. That's a minute and 1 second. If the Eagles run the 40 seconds off the clock, they win the game.
yeah, it's 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 just crazy. I mean, I'm happy it happened. Fuck the Eagles. But just
Yeah, but
should not have lost that game
the
whatsoever. That's
Eagles
crazy
are
to me.
a good team. Their defense is not good, but they are a good team. They have great personnel, but they have a horrible coaching staff.
Yeah,
And
Sirianni's a moron, dude.
like
Can't believe he has
and
a job.
and this is why I did not pick the Eagles to make the playoffs for this reason. That and like that it perfectly sums up my thoughts on the Eagles. That last 2 minutes of that game.
Yep.
The first 58 minutes of that game were fine. Like the Eagles were great. The Eagles were playing very well. But the last 2 minutes is exactly why I refuse to believe the Eagles can do anything this season.
Yeah, when it matters,
Yes.
they regardless of their personnel,
Yes.
they suck.
Yes. Um. So for week 2, I went 10-6. You went 8-8.
Jesus Christ.
Um. And for the season so far, I am 21-11, and you are 14-18.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah. So let's get to our picks for week 3. Unless you have any more comments about week 2.
I am good.
Um. Yeah. So Thursday night. Uh, Patriots at Jets. Jets favored by 6 points. Who do you got, Ian?
Give me the Jets.
I am going with the New England Patriots.
Boo,
Taking taking the
boo.
money line on the Patriots. Gonna bet a
Oh,
hundred. Gonna
look
bet
at
a.
look at you letting your gambling terms.
Gonna. I'm gonna bet the money line on the Patriots. I'm gonna bet $100. And win what 160? Is that what that means, or would that be 600?
What are the odds on the Patriots winning? Let me
The
see.
I don't know. I I don't
Hold on, I'll look.
I don't gamble.
I will tell you what $100 on the Patriots would win.
I'm
It
not
would
gonna
win
I'm not gonna bet on the Patriots.
$210 at 310 in total.
Oh, not bad. Okay,
There
maybe
you
I
go.
will do that. Uh, no, I'm not.
Yeah, no, taking the Jets. Jets are winning this game. No shot they don't.
Um,
Well, I mean, there's definitely a shot they don't, but not happening.
Next game, Chargers versus Steelers. Steelers. It's in Pittsburgh. They're favored by a point and a half.
I'm going with the Chargers.
Okay, I'm going with the Steelers.
Boo.
Only because
Boo.
what the Chargers have going for them right now is the run game, and the Steelers are going to shut that down.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck them.
Uh, Next up, Texans at the Vikings. Houston. No. Wait, I might have written this down wrong.
No, Houston's favored.
Yeah,
They're favored by 2.
Houston's favored by 2. I wrote it wrong.
Wow. Give me the Texans,
I'm also going to take the Texans.
but will not surprise me if the Vikings win.
The Vikings are at home, man. They've done
Yep.
crazier things. They just beat the reigning NFC champions at home last week. So,
Yeah.
but CJ doesn't make mistakes, and Brock Purdy makes mistakes all the time. So,
Fair.
um, Eagles at Saints. Saints favored by 2.5.
Taking the Saints. I feel like we're both doing that.
Yeah, I'm taking the Saints as well. Um,
Hell yeah.
as long as Nick Sirianni's the coach, I'm not gonna take the Eagles against a good team the rest of the season. But Broncos at Buccaneers. Buccaneers favored by 6.5.
Crazy line for how good the Broncos defense is, but I'm taking the Bucks to win.
I'm also taking the Bucks. They're gonna light them up. The Bake Show's gonna continue his run.
I agree.
Packers versus in Tennessee to take on the Titans. Titans favored by 1.5 points.
I am taking. Wow, I don't know.
I'm taking the Packers. So,
Fuck it, give me the Titans.
all right. Giants in Cleveland to take on the Browns. This is one of the most absurd lines I've seen all weekend. The Browns are favored by 6.5.
You know how much of me wants to take the Giants, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Giants.
God, but they're just so bad.
Oh, you know what?
Give, give me,
I'm not taking the
give me the
Giants.
Browns.
I'm
Yeah,
not
give me the
taking the Browns.
Browns.
I forgot for a second. I forgot how good the Browns defense is. I'm taking the Browns.
Yeah,
This should be an interesting matchup. The Bears in Indianapolis taking on the Colts and Anthony Richardson.
taking the Bears.
I purely for the fact that they're at home, I'm taking the Colts, but I would not be surprised at all if the Bears win this game.
The Bears.
Um, the Bears only win this game if Caleb Williams plays well the whole game.
Yeah, he does need to actually have a good game.
He doesn't need to have like a stellar game. He just needs to play better than the first 2 weeks. He needs to play how he did in the first half of Sunday's game, the entire game.
He needs to play like he did in college. This is some bullshit. Come on now, Caleb.
Um, the Panthers and the Raiders. I said
Give
I
me the
would.
fucking Panthers.
I said I was never going to pick the Panthers to win a game all season. Um, that was before they benched Bryce Young. I'm taking the Panthers in this game against my Raiders
Yep.
because it is the most Raiders thing for them to do.
Yep, agreed.
Beat the Ravens in Baltimore, then lose to the
Lose
Panthers
to the fucking Panthers at home.
at home. The Raiders are 5-point favorites.
Yeah, give me the
Five.
Panthers.
Give me the Panthers. Yeah. Um, because the Panthers don't even have a bad team. They're just poorly run and coached.
Yep, and
Uh,
they're just yeah.
they don't have
Everything outside of the team is bad.
yeah, the actual players themselves not bad.
Aren't horrible.
Everyone around them horrible.
Really bad.
Dolphins in Seattle to take on the Seahawks. Seahawks by 4 is the line.
Yeah, give me the Seahawks.
Yeah, without Tua, I'm taking the Seahawks. I think I was gonna take the Seahawks anyway, just because the Seahawks are just a better team. But uh, yeah, the Seahawks are without Tua. I think it's pretty obvious, which is why the line is so high. This will be an interesting one because there's a lot at stake in this game for these teams. It's the Ravens in Dallas to take on the Cowboys.
Give me the Ravens.
It's Baltimore by 1 is the line. You're taking the Ravens. I'm also going to take the Ravens because the Ravens are going to be desperate.
Yep, they need to win.
This may be too early to say this, but if the Ravens go 0-3, their season's over.
Yeah, that would be very depressing. But I
With
also don't disagree with you.
with 6 games against their division still to play and they're 0-3, that's a minimum of 6 losses. And I don't know how many and they I think they play the Texans this year. They play the
Yeah, we
Lions
have the
again.
Bills after the Cowboys.
You play the Bills in Buffalo, right?
Now it's here in Baltimore.
Okay, then that's a better. But yeah, this is an absolute must win for the Ravens. They cannot start 0-3.
Yep.
The Cowboys, if they lose this game, they'll be 1-2, but because of how bad the Eagles are, they have a better shot because they still have to play.
And
They have to play
America's happier when the Cowboys lose.
they have to play the Giants twice, the Commanders twice, and the Eagles twice, and they're guaranteed to win 4 of those games. So,
Yep.
um, because all you have to do is beat the Giants twice and then split with the Commanders and Eagles, and you go 4-2 in your division. So, um, this is a must win for the Ravens, absolutely. And I'm taking the Ravens. You said you were taking the Ravens. The
Hell
Lions
yeah.
in Arizona to take on the Cardinals.
Give me the Cardinals.
I'm pretty sure I wrote the line on this one wrong as well. I think the Lions are favored by 3.
Yes.
I would be surprised if that's not true. Yep, the Lions are favored by 3. I am taking the Cardinals in this game.
Yep.
Um, I just I I'm taking a 1 week break from my
From
marriage
the
to the
Lions.
Lions. Um, I'm going on vacation. We're going on vacation separately. I need to see the Lions mop the floor with somebody before I'm okay with picking them against frisky teams like the Cardinals. Um, so if the Lions go into Arizona and mop the floor with them, I will be back next week. Um, but I am gonna take the
You will
Cardinals in
say
this
the
game.
Lions are back, baby.
Yeah, they just need a redemption win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, anyway, this is the second most absurd line of the week. It is the Niners and the Rams in LA. Niners by 7.
Give me the Niners.
Yeah, I just think the Rams are too beat up, man.
Yeah.
The Ram
That's
I
gonna
think
be
I
tough.
I think it'll be a close game, but the Niners are they're gonna have a healthy lead most of the game, but the Rams will keep it interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I don't know. I think the Niners might honestly blow them out.
they could. I wouldn't be surprised. I want to believe in McVay and Stafford.
That's
Um,
fair. They also do normally put up a good game regardless of
yeah,
whoever is or isn't playing.
yeah. Um, Chiefs and Falcons in Atlanta on Sunday Night Football. Chiefs favored by 3.5.
Give me the Falcons.
Another primetime game for Kirk Cousins.
I know it's kind of horrid.
I'm taking the Chiefs.
Boo. Boo. No
This is
fun.
this is probably the easiest game to pick all week. It's the Jaguars and the Bills on Monday Night Football. Bills by five and a
Yep.
half. Bills by 5.
Bills by 50.5.
Yeah, I think the Bills would cover a 50.5 line. Um, and then this line's absurd. Another Monday Night Football game. It's the Commanders and the Bengals. Bengals by 7.5.
Give me Washington.
Okay, I'm gonna take Cincinnati because they're at home.
Never back down, never what chat. Come on now.
All right. Yeah. So those are our picks for week 3. Another long podcast, longer than last week's. This one went over an hour. Um,
Hey,
I
we got things to talk about. Shit.
Yeah. Um, and it's also
And
10 o'clock at night for me, 11 o'clock for Ian. So, uh,
yeah.
we
And we had,
just
a couple minutes of technical difficulties,
that's
We
true.
can
Yeah.
we can attest.
Um, but yeah, what are your any final thoughts, Mr. Ian?
Just the Ravens just can't fucking lose. I
Uh,
really can't. I really can't handle that shit, Tyler. Really,
uh,
really can't handle that shit.
I might uh I might be making the pod alone next week. Um, if
Or
the Ra-
until we win a game.
if the Ravens lose next week. Um,
Nah, honestly, just the way all of it's set up. Like West Virginia lost to their arch rival by with they had a 10-point lead with like less than 4 minutes left, and then the Ravens had a 10-point lead with like less than half of the quarter left, and it was just it all just set up so perfectly to dismantle my livelihood and make
yeah.
me so sad. So as long as they don't do that against the Cowboys, I think I'll survive. Maybe, possibly, I don't know.
Well,
If the
well,
Cowboys come out and beat us by 50, I'll cry and
well.
die and sigh.
We can only wait and see.
I'll be
I've
so excited up until about 7 o'clock that night.
I've been I've been Tyler. That's been Ian.
I've, yeah, I've always been Ian, kind of.
And Yeah, Derek Carr, 2024 MVP. You heard it here.
The king.
The king. We'll see y'all next time. Uh, are you gonna say goodbye?
Oh, toodles, sweeties.
This would be a great outtake.